getting strong, and I was not feeling it as much. And I feel like there is a benefit. And granted, you know, my squat numbers went up in that time frame also because I did a lot more mobility. And you can watch videos that I sent to my coach when we first started working with each other, and then a few months later, and it was during that time frame. But I was moving a lot better. So, you know, I do contribute that to my mobility, but then nutrition did help. I mean, it was great. I was putting a lot of demand on my body, and my body needed those calories. And so I got it in as fast, as efficient as possible.
Actually, is it healthy for you though? I mean, I know what, I tried, I wasn't ready for it. It's actually healthy for your body. I understand that you may peak in your performance level, but you know, what you're putting in your body, I mean, I eat pizza and cakes, right? But is it healthy?
Okay.
Okay.
I can answer that. His book, do you have a book? I don't think it's bad. I mean, if you're eating processed foods, and this is my firm belief, it's just mine, high fructose corn syrup, yeah, no, it's not healthy for you. High fructose corn syrup is making the whole world fat. All right? There's a reason why Europe does not make it legal to have high fructose corn syrup in their products. Okay? Their obesity rate's less. We still have it, it's still a problem, but processed foods is not the way to do it. You know, cheap food with backloading, it's not the way to do it. And he talks about that in his book. You want good quality foods. You guys have Whole Foods out here, right? I mean, Whole Foods is a good place to get bad food, really yummy bad food. That's not processed, you know. I mean, so if they did blood work on me, I don't know if it was healthy, but I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel unhealthy, and it wasn't really reflecting when I did stop all that strength and kind of teetered more towards endurance. And he does talk about this is not a diet for endurance athletes. He's working on one to tailor to a CrossFit type athlete. But that's when I started to feel sluggish, but that's because I was putting in a lot more calories and not burning as much.
Okay, third part. There's obviously different cycles in your training throughout the year. You know, there's focusing on strength, you're focusing more on endurance, so your diet sort of switches nutrition. I guess for me, not like high-level athlete, is there something you would recommend throughout the entire year, like some sort of nutrition to go by, or it's just, sorry.
I mean, you can do zone, you can do paleo throughout. You can eat to your workouts. That's something that you can do. Those days that there are strength days, go eat some rice at night or go eat a yam at night. That's gonna help you. It's gonna replenish your muscles. There's a lot of demand here in the gym. You know, you put a lot of stress on your body, you need to help it repair. So, I mean, is there one way to eat? Yeah, paleo zone, it's gonna give you results. You're gonna be fine. But it might not work for you in the sense of, you know, you're a hard gainer. It's really hard for you to gain weight and gain muscle. So you might have to change that a bit. It's again, like mobility, there's no cookie cutter way of doing nutrition. It's just, as a matter of fact, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. I wish I had it because I would sell it. Millions! Yes.
I'm a nutrition nerd over the last year. I spent a year losing a third of my body weight, so like I read everything, and so much like the carbohydrate and stuff, and a lot of stuff. It talks about it's really great for people who work out in the morning, and I can't do that. So I work out like 7:30 to 30 at night. We take like weekly classes.
Yeah.
Do you want to tailor it so that, like, when we say like carb backloading, we say hybrid, you know, your popovers and all that fun stuff. at night because you're gonna work out the morning before. But should
Right.
you be doing that then during the day if you work out at night? It's really confusing.
Yeah, email Keith on that.
Yeah. But just
I mean, I think you would tailor it to yourself. You know, I used to work out at night. I work out in the afternoon, night, all day. So it never was a question for me. But I mean, you're still getting those calories in, and my fiance works out at night, and he did just kind of carb night right after that, and he had great results. So I think doing something in the plan and having structure to it, you'll still see results. It's just different, but that is a question to email him, and as far as I understand, he does answer all his emails. So, you know, pick his brain. I think you're
How do you change a diet a couple of days before a competition?
That's a great question. No, I don't. So my nutrition is very much the same when I'm going to compete. I'm competing every single day. You guys are competing every single day. It's the same thing. Yes, during the competition, you might be working out more, but it's all the same. So I don't want to shock my body. I'm not going to carb up for a 5K. It's a fucking 5K. You don't need peanut butter jelly sandwiches right afterwards. Although it's great. If you're going to do something afterwards, you do. When I do a competition, that's a good segue, thank you. When I'm in a competition, guess what? I eat whatever I want. I know that sounds weird, but for the last 6 years, I've tried to stick to paleo. It's really hard to eat cold broccoli and old chicken that's been in a cooler all day at a competition. It's the last thing I want to eat, and I've struggled with that. Literally trying to choke down food because I knew my body needed the nourishment. I just didn't want to eat it. It was so hard. And so it was during carb backloading, and I was like, this stuff's actually working. I'm fueling my body. I feel great. So I'm gonna do something different for my competition. I did the Outlaw Open. I did really well. And I did something different that I've never done. I allowed myself to eat whatever I wanted. I didn't do the sugary stuff. It wasn't a bunch of candy bars, but it was rice. It was burgers. It was, you know, it's easy to eat a burger, right? Not very hard, it goes down pretty quick. And I liked it. And so I've played around a lot with my nutrition during competition, and I encourage you guys to do that. Try to have some white rice. That's quick sugar going straight to your body where your cells need it. You are working out 3 to 4 times in that day, and so you need as much energy as possible. There's a lot of different schools of thought on that. You don't want to do too much carbs because you want to have a constant burn. You don't want to just burn fast with those carbohydrates, so you need all fat. And it's just something that's going to work for you. But competition eating is different than the few days before and throughout your everyday type of stuff. So it's something that you have to play around with. I recommend eating some rice. It's so good. And you can eat it cold. It's not that bad. A little salt. He had a question first, so I'll get back to you.
So I've been known paleo for maybe 6 months now. I noticed I haven't had alcohol in 4 months. So my question to you is, have you experimented with no alcohol? How long? And what's the effect on your body when you take that choice? Because for me, it was horrible.
Yeah, I have experimented. I've done like 30 days of straight paleo, no cheats whatsoever in my past, and then was allowed alcohol. I didn't go too long. I don't drink very much. I left that in my college days. You know, getting trash and feeling like dirt the next day is not really appealing to me anymore. So I don't really do that. I do have some wine, but it's tough. You have to choose your alcohol wisely. I recommend you easing back into that. When I cheat, like today, I'll probably feel like garbage tomorrow. It's really strange. Like I'll eat myself sick. So stupid. But it's so enjoyable. Yeah, so up until I think January, February, I'd have wine twice a week. Just some red wine, not a ton, but just enough to kind of relax. It tastes good. I mean, I love wine. So I did that, and then when I started Zone, it started to get a little more strict. I was just like, yeah, I'll have that on my cheat, and so I'll have it tonight. I don't know if that answers your question.
Do you wake up sluggish? I mean, the glass of wine is sluggish for like a couple days.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all that sugar. You're just bombarding your cells, which when you're in the zone, or when, well, zone's it's been a very different experience for zone for me, because I'm allowed to eat rice, and I get to have, yams, and so it's a lot more food than I'm used to, and my body's responding really well. But the cheats are harsh. Yeah, it takes 3 or 4 days for me to get back to normal. And so it's definitely hard. Oh, I totally skipped you. I'm so sorry. Go for it.
Well, so I'm like right now trying to figure out all those different schools of thought and which like nutrition plan is best for me, and it's very confusing. But most importantly, what's the best thing to do like post workout, like in that first hour? Because I'm reading some places where you don't take anything for like an hour and stay fasted, but I don't know what's the best thing to do.
I think the best thing to do is you have a 30-minute window from the time you finish your workout to get some protein into your body. Okay? And I'm not talking about the proteins that's loaded with calories, carbohydrates. You need protein. Get that protein in. You need also something for that protein to bind to. And so you need some fast, quick absorption carbs. So in my belief, that's the best way of doing it. So I will have a shake and maybe like a half of a banana, some yams with cinnamon on it. And it seems to help a lot. And so, like I said, don't get that muscle milk. Muscle milk shit protein, by the way. Quote me on that. Don't get it. Like strong fast healthy or something that's really low in carbohydrates and it doesn't taste as good. And then getting a quick carbohydrate in there, nice pure banana yam. It's quick and easy baby food.
Yeah.
Baby food's amazing. It's quick, easy, and affordable, right? I highly recommend it to after your workout. It's a trend in our gym right now. You had a question. I'm sorry.
My question is about
Yeah, rest day question.
you emphasize at the beginning that rest one compliance. So what has worked for you specifically? Like how do you rest? How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, I do. I'm sorry.
Repeat the question.
She's asking about rest days and what worked. What do I do for rest days? And kind of that whole conversation on rest. For me, rest days are extremely important. I get to my 4th or 5th day and I'm exhausted. I'm cranky. I don't want to be around anybody, and I want to crawl in my bed and sleep for days. That's kind of where I go. And when my coach tells me that night, he usually tells me the day before that I'm going to rest. And so it kind of gives me that light at the end of the tunnel, like, thank you, just get through today and I can rest. But my rest days aren't full rest days. So I don't get to, it's not like I have a rest day, I'm going to go and just sit on the couch, and then I'm going to do some work, I'm going to coach, and then I get to go home. I do active rest, and I know Katie does the same thing. We might go for a run. It might be not for time, it just might be, run 3 miles and kind of reflect on what's going on, get moving. I do a lot of yoga. I do yoga once a week. It's a great way for me to reset and figure out where I'm lacking mobility. And I can tell if my heels aren't touching, then we have a problem. My heels never touch, but it gets closer and closer as the mobility in my ankles and calves are really working. Yoga is a great way. I like the active rest day. It's good for peace of mind. I can't just sit there and not do anything. I'm in the gym every day because I coach and train. So being there and not doing something is really, really tough. So being able to do it, and those days I'm usually doing way more mobility. And so if I just have an hour between a client and a class, I'm literally on my computer in the couch stretch or sitting on a lacrosse ball. But those are my active recovery days. It's really not that I'm just sitting there. Because sometimes I've gone 12 days straight, but it's, Ben's programming is really great in that way because, one day might be a heavy skill day. So I might spend, an hour on the rings. I might be spending some time every minute on the minute for pull-ups. And so although I'm doing fitness, I am still kind of an active recovery. So it's not necessarily once a week, just kind of based on how my moods are. Then I suck, I'm the worst athlete ever. And he's like, okay, you can rest. Yes.
What kind of yoga?
I do core power yoga, which is basically yoga for CrossFit. CrossFit yoga's version of CrossFit. You're constantly moving, you don't stay in a pose very long. It's not that bad. It's an hour. My internal clock is like, at an hour, can get me out of here. So the hour yoga is really good for me. It is hot, and so I hate that. Have you ever done hot yoga? If you like that, you are a different creature. It's like, how am I sweating this much? I don't sweat this much when I CrossFit. This is ridiculous, just bringing up stuff. It's uncomfortable. But I do enjoy yoga. So that's it. Yes.
How do you optimize your recovery for yourself?
I make sure I get a lot of sleep. On the days that I can sleep in, I do. At minimum 8.5 hours of sleep.
Minimum 8.5 hours?
There's days that I don't get that.
You must not have kids.
I actually have a half a kid. Half a kid. My fiance is a 7-year-old. So, there's days that I don't get that sleep. I am not a morning person. I will not get up for the 5:30 class and cover anyone's class at that time. They can just what the hell. But sleep is important. I optimize my recovery by sleeping. And yeah, I will sleep till 9 o'clock. I rarely sleep past that, but I need to make sure that I can get as much sleep as I can. And that might mean I wake up and help pack lunches and get people out the door and then jump back in bed for another hour. But it is significant. Naps in the middle of the day. When I worked at Bank of America, they thought I was crazy. On my lunch hour, I literally took a nap for 45 minutes. I would go in the back of my car and lay down and have my blankie. And yes, I have a blankie. Don't judge. And I have it there and I take a nap. Some days the car was running with the air conditioning on, some days not. And yes, I would still use the blanket. But sleep is crucial. That's when your body repairs itself. And so you need to sleep as much as possible. And so I think to optimize my days of recovery, it's that sleep.
Just sleep? Do you take any supplements to help?
I take fish oil. I make sure that I do salt stick or it's electrolytes. Katie does Noon. I do Ultima. And I make sure that I take some electrolytes. I mean, we're putting a lot of demand on our body, and so you need to help it out. Fish oils primarily is what I take. I do Pure Pharma. Pure Pharma is a great fish oil company. Yes, I'm sponsored by them, so I'm plugging them. But yeah, fish oil is what I do.
A follow-up to that, did you say earlier when you first started that when you step on the scale, maybe I didn't get enough sleep? Could you can your weight really be affected by getting time of sleep?
Oh,
I know
yeah. Absolutely.
How does that affect your weight?
I mean, if you're not taking care of it, your cortisol levels go up. Yeah, so if you're not getting enough sleep, if you kind of see a trend and all of a sudden in the midsection, you're like, where did that come from? And you're like, oh, I've been working late in the office for 2 weeks. You know, it is affected, and you do have to look at that. And so I know when I haven't slept enough. It's all tied together. You look in the mirror and you're like, holy shit, I'm so clean. This is great. Guess what? You probably didn't have enough water. Granted, I live in that moment. But yeah, I probably didn't drink enough water that day, right? You have to look at that stuff and really focus on it.
I just feel like massages, chiropractors, we do that a lot.
Love massages. I don't do it enough because I don't have enough money, but I do massages as much as possible. And chiropractors, I haven't met one that, that's false. I have met one that I liked. There's one at our gym. If they don't know what CrossFit is, then I don't really agree with some of their methods. But I think it's great. As long as you're getting attention to your body, it's great. But I think that they need to be in like mind. They need to understand CrossFit and what you're doing so that they can help you as best as possible. Not like, well, your shoulder, don't use it. Whoever thought that would work? I don't understand. Don't use something? Okay. Hey, nice to meet you. So, yeah, I do think that they're both critical.
Yeah, I heard you mention BCAAs and obviously protein shakes. Are there any other supplementation you look at, or how do you feel about supplementation?
I don't like taking stuff myself. I don't like putting a lot of stuff in my body. Excuse me. So I really don't really look to supplements to make myself better. There's some that are critical. I'm trying to branch to amino acids. I don't quite understand all the things that it does for me, but it's something that I'm trying because my coach has recommended it. The protein shakes are really important. You need to do that nutrition. There's days that I forget it, and there's weeks that I forget it, and then all of a sudden I realize that I've been stupid and I need to make sure that my body gets everything that it can. But, you know, for me, I don't take a ton of stuff. I just feel like I should be able to get that through my nutrition. I should be able to get that through my vegetables and my fruits and all the good quality food that I'm putting into myself. So for me, it doesn't work. I don't need all that stuff. You had a question back there?
Do you take anything to help you sleep, or are you just like naturally?
ZMA. Zinc, magnesium. I don't know what the A stands for. What? Awesome. I do take that pure product. Also has that product, and so I do use that. I don't know if it does work, but I do know that I can sleep longer when I take it. So I do feel a lot more rested. But then I don't know if it's because I was so exhausted that I would sleep better, but it's not this like mind-blowing difference when I take it. But yeah, I do.
Post-workout, if you have the option to either drink like protein shake or eat real food, what's the better option, or is it?
I'm playing around with that. I think if you're not going to get that real food within that 30-minute window, the protein shake is absolutely great. I do eat whole foods. I usually eat my lunch right after my workout, so I'm getting that protein. But you have to also understand your body has to break down that food and kind of filter out what it needs from the food. With the protein shake's already broken down. It's going to get and absorb in your body a lot faster. So it's just a matter of, if you're looking at it, how hard was that workout? How much do you need that nutrition? You know, if the workout was double unders and sit-ups, maybe you don't need it as fast. And so maybe it's okay to wait 20 minutes and then have a meal, opposed to if you did squat, clean thrusters, or home whatever. Dan, what workout did you do yesterday?
What's that?
What workout did you do yesterday?
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough workout. You really need to get that nutrition into your fat. And so you have to analyze that too. How long was the workout? Can you kind of wait a minute? Those are all really good questions. Anything else? Yeah.
My issue is that, like, I barely ever get hungry, so like I don't eat that much. And I just want to know what is bad about that. I just don't. I hate when I'm not hungry because I feel like I'm just gonna get fat.
That's actually more normal than you think. She said it's hard for her to eat. She only eats when she's hungry and she's not very hungry often. It's important to get that nutrition. If you're trying to build muscle, you need that nutrition. You can't let it go. Your body is built to survive. So if there's not food there, or you're not hungry, or you drink a lot of coffee, you gotta look at some other outliers. But if it's something that's preventing you not eating and kind of taking away that connection from stomach to head, then that's something you might need to change. But you want to make sure that you nourish your body. Your body will hold on to fat and everything that it has if it's not being fed. So it's kind of like a fire. A fire will burn out and stop burning unless you stoke the fire. And that's kind of what nutrition does. Nutrition keeps everything running efficiently. And so you kind of have to look at it, and maybe we can talk afterwards about it and kind of see. But you need to, if you want to build muscle, I don't know what your goals are, but you need to actually put in to get out what you want.
Do you find that there are certain times in the day when you are more efficient in your workouts? The reason I ask is because I'm not a morning person by any stretch of the imagination, but when I work out in the morning, like around 5:30 a.m. and then go back to bed, it's my best workout.
Really?
In the early morning.
Well, they say your brain is precious at that point. You just woke up from a long nap. I don't know. I can't get my body moving. I mean, it's creating that heat in my body is really hard at that early in the morning. But is there an optimal time to work out? Yeah, in practice. Dave Castro likes to wake you up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go swim in the damn ocean. So I mean, I don't know. Timing your workout is specializing. You want to work out when it's time to work out, and you need to respond to those workouts at that time, not make it the best workout ever. I think that's maybe specializing.
You drink coffee every day, and you've gone periods of time without doing it, and I imagine it affects your working out.
Yeah, I've never stopped drinking coffee. However, I do drink decaf a lot. So I tried to make that correlation. I was looking at why I wasn't hungry and why I would wait hours upon hours to eat and then be extremely hungry. And so I started to look at the caffeine aspect. Caffeine doesn't get me hopped up. Okay, I just stopped thinking. It just takes away that center that tells me when I'm hungry. And so more often than not, when I'm drinking coffee, it's decaf. Today it's not. So yeah, I have played around with it, and I have noticed there is a big difference. I sleep better when I don't get that caffeine. If this was like maybe an hour or two later, I would have gotten a decaf. Just today is a cheat day, and it was early. Yeah, cheat.
You want to say it now? You want to say it?
No, not yet. But I feel like it does affect me, and I'm trying to kind of play around with that. So it has helped. My sleep has gotten better when I haven't had caffeine any later than about 11. I think there was a question back here before you guys. Nope.
For shoes to wear and work out, you change shoes, you have one you prefer?
I used to match my shoes to my clothes. And then started to have a little bit of feet issues. My feet started to hurt, my ankles started to hurt, my calves started to hurt. And so I tailored myself to one set of shoes. I wore the Nano 2s for a while, and then the feet issues got a little bit better, and then it didn't. So then I switched over to the Nanos. I am sponsored by Reebok, and so I am exclusively wearing Reebok products. I got to the Nano ones, back to those. They're a little bit more flat, there's a little bit more space. My foot issue got a little bit better. I think I was struggling with some of the plantar fasciitis maybe. I started to spend a lot more time on my feet with mobility, and then I got the Nano 3s. I'm not plugging up them by any means, but I do feel like these are phenomenal shoes. They're getting closer and closer to a really good shoe. If you guys are all looking, so these are the Nano 3s.
What's the difference between the 3s and 2s?
The 3s, in comparison to the 2s and the 1s, it's literally like they took the 1 and the 2 and just smashed it together. So it's got all the flexibility and durability of the 2, but not the squishiness and the loss of the ground, feeling the ground, that the 1 had. And so it's a great shoe. I mean, I wore this shoe for a week, and then all of a sudden my feet didn't hurt as much, and it just progressively got better. And I think, these shoes really help. I'm not saying wear Reeboks exclusively, wear what works for you. We have a guy at our gym who has like size 15 shoe, I kid you not. They're like flippers. And they don't work for him, so he wears Innovates. And so you have to find what works for you. Some people aren't going to wear the minimalist shoe. It's just not going to happen. You will wear a running shoe with a bigger sole. And if that makes you more comfortable, great. I changed my shoes for lifting. I do have a lifting shoe. I use the Reebok lifting shoe. That just gives me a little bit more leverage. I'm not very flexible. I work very hard for it, but that lift in that shoe helps me tremendously get to the positions that might be easier for other people. So those are the 2 shoes I switched out of.
The question I had was, we spoke about nutrition leading up to a competition. How about the WODs? You change your WODs going in. When's your last WOD before competition?
You're like, let's talk about competition, guys.
That's what it's for.
Weeks before, nothing really changes unless I know the movements. And guess what? Yeah, I become a specialist. Okay. Fortunately for me, this region, ours is first. We're gonna have a week to know the workouts, and that is it. So I won't be able to specialize as much as I'd like to. But and I encourage you to if you do a competition and you know the movements, practice them. I don't say do the workout, the entire workout. I think that's silly. Your expectations, if they're good or bad, will reflect on how you go into that workout on competition day. You can make many very different variations of that workout. But then 3 days out, I'm still working out. I might not be lifting a lot. I might not be lifting heavy because I don't want to be too sore. I don't want those adverse effects of working out. But I am still moving. 2 days out, I'm going to get a massage. 2 or 3 days out, I do get a massage. Really try to prep my body, get ready to move correctly. I'm still getting the heart rate up on the last day, the day before. I'm just resting. I might go do yoga. I might go for a little bit of a jog. But for the most part, I'm pre-planning. I'm packing a bag. My bag has everything in it. I kid you not, it has about 100 hair ties. It has gallons of hairspray. A little pain. It has long sleeves, short sleeves. It has pants. It's got sweatpants. There's clothes to change into at the very end. I want to stay as cool and dry as possible in a competition, and so I'm packing a lot. And maybe I might not wear it. The weather might be great. I don't know how it's going to be tomorrow. It might be a little misty. You want to make sure that you're staying dry and warm during your competition. And so, at the end of a workout, when I'm done, and this is for all my competitions, when I'm done with my workout, I'm cooling myself down. I do not finish my workout and then hang out with Joe Schmo and eat my food. okay? For the next half hour, I am walking. My coach will have my protein shake for me, maybe 10 or 15 minutes after the workout. But I'm literally, if you ask anybody who was at the games, like Dan right saw me, we would immediately go from the main floor at the games, and then I'd walk in the back, and I'd probably walk for about 5 minutes. I was on a team with Katie and some other athletes, and I made them go walk with me afterwards. You gotta bring that core temperature back down. It'll help you recover. Sitting in there with your muscles just fired right afterwards is just gonna get everything locked up and frozen. And you don't want that. You need to work out again in a few hours. And so I'm moving and walking and stretching, getting my hips, anything that might get a little tight on me, I'm gonna roll it out. And then I'll be able to kind of rest once my heart rate's going down and I'm feeling a little bit more cool.
How long is that?
About 30 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah, nothing more than that. I'm not, running a 5K in between the workouts, but I'm making sure that I warmed up for my body temperature to come up in the beginning. I worked out. I can't just drop it off and let it come down fast. I gotta just kind of bring it down as fast as it can, but nice and smooth, not a very dramatic rest. So you want to make sure that you're moving afterwards, and you guys will see a significant change if you do that tomorrow. I highly recommend it. And I will do that for my athletes at regionals. I do not let them sit. They will move. I will be going to Katie's regional the weekend after mine, and I'm going to make her walk.
I'm gonna make you walk at your regional.
I know. She's my coach she's my coach by Bergeron will be competing the same weekend as me for regionals. So Katie Hogan is my coach. I love it. We're just gonna talk the whole time. So yeah, you want to make sure that you have that. You're going to eat every 2 hours. Get that pre-meal before your workout, 30 minutes before. If you're not hungry, you probably don't need to eat. Okay? If it's been only a few hours and you're not hungry, don't worry about it. Your body knows what to do, and it'll tell you what it needs to eat. Now, if you're stressing and you're like, I need to eat something, but I'm not very hungry, have a bite of something. And if it satiates you and calms you down, then you're good. But you don't need to just obsess and I have to get food in. All right, food in will make it sluggish. So if you're not going to use it, it's not going to burn. Don't worry about it. It's okay. But have a lot of clothes and socks. Okay, socks. Socks are huge. I literally bring probably, there's 4 workouts. I think I bring like 12 to 15 pairs of socks. Katie does too. I wear long socks to rope climbs. Anything that might get in my way, I want to make sure that I'm prepared for it. You don't know what's going to be handed to you. Like obviously, if your workouts are released, you might be good, but long socks might act as compression pants. Okay, and compression for those calves. Maybe you forgot your compression. You have long socks. It's compressing. Okay, so it might help you. And that's going to be important as well. That was an interesting look. Is that an aha? Or like, done? I know you have a question?
How much water do you drink a day?
Oh, that's a good question. I drink about a gallon of water a day. I'm not kidding. It's extremely important. I'm completely dry right now. Katie, you give me a water right now. No, I really need one, yeah. I have a lot of tails when I haven't drank a lot of water. My lips get really dry, and it happens pretty fast. So I can tell if the day before if I forgot to drink water. I'm literally carrying water with me at all times. But I make sure that it's not just water. There's electrolytes in the water. I'm taking this, Ultima is the one that you can get at Whole Foods, and it's just a scoop of electrolytes. I do something called Salt Stick. And I highly recommend you doing this tomorrow for a competition. That stuff, you're drinking a lot of water. If you're flushing out those minerals and vitamins and stuff that your body naturally makes or converts food from, you gotta make sure you replace it. So while water is great, you have to be careful because you don't want to flush all that necessary stuff. So you want to make sure that you're taking in good electrolytes as well, and you want to replenish. So it's very important that your urine does stay that light yellow. I know we want to talk about that stuff. But if you want to look at it, your urine is neon yellow, you have an issue. You haven't drank enough water, okay? But you don't want it to be completely clear, especially in competition. I don't know about you, but every 5 minutes right before my heat starts, I have to pee. How is it physically possible that you have to go to the bathroom that much? That's been a question for me at a games. I get so nervous that I just have to go to the bathroom. And then you might sit there and nothing happens, but I know, too much information. But it happens, so you want to make sure that you're keeping in the good stuff that your body really needs. So don't drink regular water all the time. You can drink it, but put in some electrolytes, and it will help tremendously. You won't get so sore. I mean, you will get sore probably, and it happens. But you want to kind of chase that away until the day after your competition.
For early morning workouts, rest up your diet. How important is it to eat something before that? It's hard to get to the gym on time, at 5 in the morning, and have something to eat. Usually I work out and get home, have my protein shake, and have banana, and then I eat like crazy. I'm kind of like a rock star.
Right. You stoked your engine. You started it really early. I think it is important to get something in there because you haven't eaten for 8 hours. So your body is looking for energy, and it's gonna get it from somewhere. I know it's hard to eat. I've talked to a lot of clients who are like, I just woke up, I got to the gym, I need to just work out. I don't want to eat. I just can't eat. There's got to be something that you can have. Applesauce. It could be just a little bit of something, but just something to get your body moving. And then, eating constantly. If that's what your body needs, that's what you need. But I think trying to have a little something, maybe like I said, applesauce before your workout, it'll just kind of help things move along a little bit better. And then eating within that 30-minute window after your workout might help as well. But getting something, a little banana beforehand, gets things kind of moving, gets that energy flowing after that fast. Yes.
How do you train when basically you planned out your day, you have your workout maybe at this time, and the life gets in the way? You're thrown with that curveball that day, and you just can't work out at the time you wanted to, and then you're kind of booked the rest of the day. You don't see a workout happening the rest of the day, and tomorrow was your rest day too, so you don't see it getting tomorrow.
Right.
How do you handle?
So you kind of